Welcome back to our channel, Coins Liberty, where we dive into fascinating facts about money, history, and the incredible stories behind the coins we use every day. Today, we're talking about one of the smallest, yet most intriguing coins in circulation, the US 1-cent coin. Yes, the penny, that little coin with a big history. Stick around as we explore its journey through time, its value, and the surprising stories that make it worth so much more than you might think. Let's kick things off by diving into the history of the 1-cent coin. The story of the penny goes all the way back to the beginnings of the United States, right after the nation's founding. Let's talk about the most iconic pennies that we all know today. The first major redesign of the penny came in 1859 with the creation of the Indian head cent. This design featured a Native American profile and was used until 1909. But it was the next redesign that really solidified the penny as we know it today. In 1909, to celebrate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, the U.S. Mint released the Lincoln cent. The reverse of the coin showed two stalks of wheat, which became known as the wheat penny. This was an important moment in U.S. coin history, as it marked the first time a real person's image, President Abraham Lincoln, appeared on a U.S. coin. This design would be used for decades, from 1909 all the way to 1958. Then, in 1959, to mark the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth, the U.S. Mint introduced the Lincoln Memorial Reverse, which showed the famous memorial in Washington, D.C. This design lasted until 2009 when the Mint decided to release several commemorative designs in honor of Lincoln's life, including the log cabin, the formative years, the Gettysburg Address, and more. So, what's the 1-cent coin worth today? Well, the answer is complicated because the value of a penny isn't just about its face value. As of today, the penny is still in circulation, but it has lost much of its purchasing power over time. When the penny was first introduced, it could buy a lot more than it can today. In fact, thanks to inflation, the value of a penny has significantly decreased. In 1793, a penny could buy what would be worth a few dollars today. Fast forward to the present, and while a penny might not be able to buy much, it still holds its place in modern currency systems. But here's an interesting fact. Did you know that it actually costs more to make a penny than it's worth? That's right. As of recent years, it costs the US Mint about 1.5 to 2 cents to produce just one penny. With rising costs for materials like zinc and copper, producing pennies has become an expensive endeavor for the U.S. government. In fact, this has sparked debates about whether the penny should be discontinued altogether. Many people argue that the penny no longer serves a useful purpose, while others argue that it holds sentimental and historical value. Now, while the penny may not have a huge purchasing power today, the coin can actually be worth much more to collectors. Some rare pennies, especially those with errors or unusual characteristics, can fetch a pretty penny, pun intended. Then, there's the 1909 SVDB Lincoln cent. This penny, with the initials VDB on the reverse, is one of the most sought-after coins by collectors. It's estimated that a good quality example can be worth anywhere from several thousand to tens of thousands of dollars, depending on its condition. So, what does the future hold for the penny? While there's ongoing debate about whether we should keep minting pennies, one thing is clear. The penny's historical and collector value is undeniable. Some people believe that, in the future, the penny will be phased out, while others argue that it will continue to hold a place in our hearts and wallets for years to come. In conclusion, the 1-cent coin has come a long way since its introduction in 1793, from its humble beginnings to being one of the most iconic coins in American history. It might not be worth much today in terms of purchasing power, but the penny's value as a historical artifact and as a collector's item is immense. So, the next time you come across a penny, remember that there's more to this little coin than meets the eye. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more fascinating facts about the world of money. And tell us in the comments, do you think the penny should stay, or should it be gone for good? Let us know your thoughts. Until next time, keep collecting, and keep exploring. Before we talk specifically about the 1983 D penny, let's take a quick step back and talk about the history of the 1-cent coin. The penny, also known as the Lincoln cent, was first introduced in 1909 to honor the 16th President of the United States, Abraham Lincoln. Since then, the design has evolved, but the profile of Abraham Lincoln has remained on the front of the coin. In 1959, the reverse design was changed to show the Lincoln Memorial, which would remain the reverse design on the penny until 2008. But by the time we reached 1983, the penny was already well into its decades-long existence, and the coin had become a crucial part of the American economy. Now, let's fast forward to 1983. The 1983 D penny, minted in Denver, is notable for several reasons. First, it was part of a unique moment in U.S. coin history. The penny was undergoing a major change. In 1982, the U.S. Mint made a huge decision. They changed the composition of the penny. For the first time, the penny was no longer made of pure copper but was instead made of a copper-plated zinc alloy. This change was made to reduce costs, as copper prices were rising. So, in 1983, the penny struck in Denver, with the D mint mark, was made using this new copper-plated zinc formula. This made the 1983 D penny unique, as it was the first year of the new alloy formula. You see, before 1982, pennies were primarily made from copper, but starting in 1983, the U.S. Mint switched to a composition that was primarily zinc with a thin copper coating, weighing only about 2.5 grams as opposed to the previous 3.1 grams. While this change made the coin lighter and cheaper to produce, it also raised some interesting questions about its long-term durability. Now you might be thinking, okay, so the 1983 D penny is just another penny, right? Well, not exactly. While most of the 1983 D pennies are still in circulation today and are worth just 1 cent, there are some rare versions of this coin that can be worth a lot more to collectors. One of the most intriguing things about the 1983 D penny is that a few very rare examples have been found with major minting errors. The most notable of these errors is the 1983 D double die penny. A double die error occurs when the coin is struck more than once, causing the design to appear doubled. In the case of the 1983 D penny, the doubling is most often visible in the letters of the word Liberty on the obverse of the coin, or the date itself. This is an extremely rare mistake, and if you happen to find one of these error pennies in your pocket change, it could be worth quite a lot. But where things get interesting is with the error coins. A 1983 D double die penny can be worth anywhere from a few $100s to several $1,000s. The value of these rare error coins really depends on how clearly the doubling appears and what condition the coin is in. Let's dive a bit deeper into these rare error pennies, because the value of a 1983 D double die penny can really skyrocket. A well-preserved 1983 D double die penny, in what collectors call uncirculated condition, can sometimes fetch prices of over $1,000 at auction. Some of the most extreme cases have seen these pennies sell for even higher amounts. In fact, one 1983 D double die penny was sold for over $2,000 at a major coin auction. While these coins are incredibly rare, the high demand from collectors has driven their value through the roof. So, how do you know if you have a 1983 D double die penny? Well, here are a few things to look out for. First, inspect the obverse of the coin, particularly the word Liberty and the date 1983. If you notice that the letters look thicker or doubled in certain spots, that could be a sign that you have a double die penny. The doubling is usually visible on the left side of the letters, making them appear almost as if there's a shadow or a second set of lines. Also, take a look at the date itself. If you see that the 3 or the 8 has been struck multiple times, that's another telltale sign that you might be holding a valuable coin. So, what makes the 1983 D penny so significant in the world of collecting? Well, this coin is a great example of how a seemingly ordinary, everyday coin can become valuable due to errors and historical changes. Collectors love to track down these rare error coins because they add to the richness of the coin's story. And the 1983 D penny is part of a larger trend of interest in U.S. mint errors. Collectors of all experience levels find it exciting to hunt for coins that didn't make it through the minting process perfectly. The search for these errors is part of what makes coin collecting so thrilling. Now, let's talk about the future of the penny. With inflation rising and the cost of production continuing to increase, many people are questioning whether the US Mint will continue making pennies in the years to come. While there's been talk about phasing out the penny, for now, the 1983 D penny remains an important piece of history. Whether or not pennies continue to be minted, the 1983 D penny will always hold a special place in numismatic history, particularly for era collectors. So, to sum it all up, the 1983 D penny may seem like just another penny, but if you look closely, it could be hiding a valuable era worth hundreds, or even thousands of dollars. The history behind this coin and its significance in coin collecting is truly fascinating. So, next time you come across a 1983 D penny, take a moment to check for errors. It could be worth more than you think. First, let's set the scene. The 1993 penny belongs to a series of Lincoln cents that have been in circulation since 1909. But before we talk about the specific design and significance of the 1993 penny, let's take a quick look at how the penny itself came to be. As most of you probably know, the U.S. Mint first introduced the Lincoln cent in 1909, honoring the 16th President of the United States, Abraham Lincoln. The coin's obverse features Lincoln's profile, and it's been a staple of American currency for over a century. In 1959, the reverse design changed to the Lincoln Memorial, and that design remained in circulation until 2008. But in 2009, to mark the 200th anniversary of Lincoln's birth, the U.S. Mint began releasing special reverse designs celebrating key moments in Lincoln's life. However, in 1993, the penny was still using the traditional Lincoln Memorial reverse design. Now, let's zoom in on the 1993 penny specifically. The penny from 1993 has a very familiar design. On the obverse, you'll see the profile of Abraham Lincoln, which has been unchanged for decades. But what sets the 1993 penny apart from other years is its reverse. Now that we've taken a closer look at the design, let's talk about the historical context and the role the 1993 penny played in circulation. In 1993, the U.S. economy was in the midst of a significant transition. In the early 90s, the United States was experiencing economic growth. The country was coming out of the 1990 to 1991 recession, and the economy was beginning to thrive again. The penny, though low in value, continued to circulate alongside the growing use of credit cards and digital payment systems. The 1993 penny was produced in massive quantities. In fact, the U.S. Mint struck over 7.5 billion pennies that year, which was about the average for the early 90s. This shows that the penny was still widely used in everyday transactions, despite the rise of electronic payments. So, let's talk about the value of the 1993 penny today. The truth is, a regular 1993 penny isn't worth much more than its face value of 1 cent. You can easily find them in your pocket change or in a jar collecting dust in your home. Despite the fact that the 1993 penny is not rare, there are still some interesting factors to consider when talking about its value. You see, while it may not fetch a lot of money on its own, certain factors can make it more valuable to collectors. While the 1993 penny itself may not be worth much, certain rare varieties and errors can make a penny from that year worth thousands of dollars. Let me explain. First, error coins are a huge part of numismatics. For example, if a penny from 1993 has a misprint, a doubled die, or any other mistake in its minting process, it could be worth significantly more than 1 cent. Some 1993 pennies with errors have been known to sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on the severity of the error and the condition of the coin. One of the most sought-after types of error coins is a double-dyed penny, where the design has been struck more than once, causing a doubling effect. There have been some very rare examples of these error pennies from 1993 that have sold for hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Aside from rare errors, the 1993 penny is part of the larger collection of Lincoln cents. These pennies, though still produced in large quantities, hold a special place in collectors' hearts. Many collectors focus on completing sets of Lincoln cents, and the 1993 penny is part of that effort. For serious numismatists, having a full set of Lincoln cents, from the 1909 VDB penny to the 1993 penny and beyond, is a sought-after achievement. The value of a well-preserved 1993 penny can also increase as part of a larger collection, especially if it's graded highly by the numismatic community. Now, let's take a step back and think about the future of the penny. While it's still in circulation today, the U.S. Mint has been making fewer pennies in recent years. There's been an ongoing debate about whether we should continue producing pennies or eliminate them altogether due to the rising cost of production. Despite this, the penny holds a special place in American history. It's a reminder of Lincoln's legacy and of the changing dynamics of American currency. Whether the penny continues to circulate or eventually becomes obsolete, the 1993 penny, like all pennies, will remain a historical artifact that tells the story of the U.S. economy and coinage.